Hey guys, it's Kate, and I hope you're having a great day. I'm here with my B watercolor paper, my Kuretake Art Nouveau palette, and the Princeton Summit 10 round brush. And I thought we could do some fun, easy florals today, and they're just going to be kind of whimsical and just sort of from my imagination, but I want to kind of fill this whole page with almost like a floral pattern. And it's going to be some good brushstroke practice, just fun with colors, and we'll use some nice pinks and purples and greens from this palette, which it really just has some beautiful ones. So what I'm planning on doing is making one floral piece that's a little bit bigger than what else is going to go on the page, and it's going to act a little bit like a focal point. And I think I might put it sort of in this area here, the top right third, and I'll just kind of have it here, maybe a second piece down here, and then we're going to fill in all around it. And so for my main piece, I think I want to go with this alizarin crimson. And I'm going to grab my little sauce cup that I use for mixing color. That way I can get a nice watery blend that will spread nicely. So that should be good. And I'm just going to go in and start my first one. And I'm going to paint the outside of my petals, but leave some white. That way we can have just some extra color in there and a little bit of definition, so it's not just the petals that are a single color. And I'm not concentrating too much on anything except I just want to get like a basic flower shape. Just like that. And it kind of looks messy, but that's just fine. So what I'm going to also do is grab another color here, maybe this purple. And I'm going to grab another little sauce cup here and just pop in a few little dots of color, just so that it can blend. Now I'm going to go back into that, and that is Old Mauve, if you want to know the color. And I'm going to get some more and make another flower down here. And I'm going to make a little bit of a rose. So I'm dipping into my water. And so I'm using the belly of my brush to make this shape. Now I want this to be smaller than my main flower over here, so I'm just going to kind of keep an eye on the size. And I think that should be pretty good. So I'm going to kind of go in the opposite now. I'm going to go back to this alizarin crimson, and I'm going to drop a little bit of that in here. So we've got two flowers that kind of share a color story here. I don't really know why I said color story, but it fits. I think I probably heard it somewhere. Not sure what that means. What exactly is a color story? But that's what we've got going on here. All right, so we've got our first two floral pieces. Now, I think I'm going to go back to this alizarin crimson, and I might add something a little bit bright. Maybe some of this coral pink. And we can kind of lighten it up and get a different color. And let's maybe make some little flower buds down here. And I'm just kind of dotting my brush down and letting the paint just kind of come off of it, and I'm allowing it to have some white space. So it just adds some natural highlights right in there. So that should be good. Maybe one more. I'll add a little bit more color to this one. Okay. And then I want to add it to just one more spot on my paper. So maybe I'll just add a couple right here. Like that. All right, I had to actually take a short break and my paper is actually pretty dry, I think. So let's continue with those leaves. I have my little sauce cup here. I am going to go into this green gray, which is a nice dark green color. And I am going to add a couple of leaves to this rose. Just like that. Make them a little bit imperfect. Make like a little bit of a ruffled edge, why not? And then maybe one coming off of here. I'm just going right off the paper. Just like that. Now I'm going to make a little stem right here. And I'm going to have this coming right down off the page. And then I'm going to link up each of these little flowers. Just like that. Now for this one, let's just have them kind of float in here, right there in the middle. Now I'm going to go into this ivy green right next to it, and I'm just going to mix it in to change up the color a bit. And I am going to put a stem on this flower here and have that come right off the page too. And then I'm going to add a couple of leaves onto this one. Now I'm going to use this same green and make a little stem coming right down this way. Made a little bit of a mistake there, but that's fine. And then have one coming off the page here. So now I'm going to go in here and grab one of my blues, and I want to use this cobalt turquoise light and get that in my mixing cup. And I'm going to add some little flower heads here. I'm going to leave that one blank, and maybe I'll add a couple more coming down the stems. And I'm just blotting my brush. Just like that, keeping it very simple. Now let's say we get some of this coral pink. I'm going to mix it right in with my blue and kind of make a little bit of a purple. That's a little bit gray, so I am going to get a little bit more and kind of make it a little bit more pink. And let's put some little flower shapes right here. And I'm just dotting my brush, just like that. And we can do a few different shapes here. Just like that. And then I'm going to go back into this green. And just add some little stems here. Now I'm going to go into this shadow green and change up the color a little bit more again. And I'm going to put in just some sort of random leaves. I'm going to leave some more white space in here. And I'm even going to go right over this stem. Why not? And then maybe we can have one kind of coming down this way. Just like that. And how about some of this pea green? This is kind of a nice, fun green. And I'm going to have one coming up this way. I'm going to make almost like some little fern leaves. Just like this. And I'm going to have this come right down to the edge of that stem. And I'm going to have this leaf kind of coming out right next to it. And then I want to have one more, so I might have one coming right over this way. And I'm just kind of going next to it, next to these leaves. But if there's a little overlap, that's totally fine with me. And then how about one more coming down? And this is dry enough now when I can just go right over it. Just like that. Maybe, let's see, do we want one coming right out of here? I think I do. I really like these little greenery pieces. And they're just kind of fun to have that nice bright color. Now my center's a little bit bare, so I am going to add another stem here, kind of coming around this way, but I'm going to change up my leaf shapes into more of like a circular shape. And I'm going to leave some white space in these too. There you go. All right. Now I'm going to add some darkness here, and I think I'm going to start with this Venetian red. And I'm just going to go into the pan and get a bit on my brush and add a nice little center here. And I'm just kind of dabbing with my brush, just like that. Now this rose here is dry. I'm going to come back in. I think I used the old mauve. I'm just going to get a little bit on my brush and add a little bit of darkness to some parts of this little rose here. And I'm going to rinse my brush and drag some of this out to let it kind of flow a bit. I'm not putting a lot down, just a little bit, but I'm just going to add a little bit of water to get it to move. Just like that. I really love this little pop of blue in here. That's really pretty. I like that. All right. Let me grab a little bit of this vermilion. And I'm going to add just a few little bright centers here. So we can have a couple of colors on these little flower buds. It just adds that extra little bit of brightness, I think. Oh, and maybe some coming out of the center here. So these are dry, so it's not going to bleed into the other colors. So it will just sort of stay where I put it. Now you can have it kind of spread out if you want, but for me right now, that's all I want to do. I think I might add one more of these little blue flowers. So I'm going to just darken up this green that I've already got a little bit. And I'm going to come right behind this flower. And I'm going to pretend like there's a little stem coming from off the page. And then maybe add a couple of more here. Just like that. And then that was the Cobalt Turquoise Light. I'm just going to get a little bit on my brush here and pop some of these in. I'm going to put one at the end of each stem. And then just one or two extra. Now I think this could really use a little pop of yellow. So I am going to grab this saffron yellow and I'm going to use it kind of sparingly, but just kind of put together some little yellow flowers in here, just kind of scattered around a bit. And I'm just making some very basic brush marks, and I'm not even going to add stems. They're just going to be kind of scattered in little empty spaces. Maybe one right here. Just like that. Now I'm also going to go into this Venetian red and add some little dark centers to these. And I think that looks pretty good. And then maybe I'll do that also with the yellow. I'm going to grab this really fine script liner and grab some more of that Venetian red. And just add a couple little dots. These ones are going to flow out, but that's okay. I'm just putting a little tiny bit on there. And I think this looks really good. I'm going to take off the tape so we can do a close-up. And this will be our finished painting. I really love how this turned out. It's just very simple. You can fill a page. You could use it for a card background. Like if you wanted to put this on a greeting card or something like that, or paint something on a page, you could put like another little white card or something that has a plain background and put a sentiment or something on it. But here is our finished painting. And this is all with the Kuretake palette. And you could get much more detailed, but I just really wanted to do something fun and loose and with a lot of variety on it. So I hope you enjoyed this video today. I hope you try it yourself with the supplies you have on hand. And thank you so much for watching. Until next time, keep creating. Bye.